so they took away the light and there was no darkness. Our eyes didn't adjust at all. And then we were able, from this trip, you were able to explain to children that darkness is all around. And when he brought the lamp back towards us, we saw our eyes started to adjust and the light was coming back into the room. So it proved to us that darkness is all around, and it's the light coming into the darkness, and hoping that's what the children would take from the trip. We chose to do the trip first to introduce our topic, because, as Dylan said, learning outside the classroom can positively influence children's attitudes and feelings towards scientific learning. To really get them excited about what they're going to be learning about in the next 2 lessons.
So why did we go to Chisholm Caves? We chose there because we felt that it really engaged the children in the topic. And as we were focusing on light and dark, it's probably one of the only places you can get complete darkness. Your eyes won't adjust because there's no light sources. And you can't recreate that in the classroom because there will always be a light source. So there will always be the sun or a light coming from outside the classroom. Then we thought about any limitations of the trip. And because we chose a Key Stage 1, Year 2 age, they wouldn't be able to experience complete darkness for too long like we did when we went, because they might feel frightened, but the tour guides did say they can adjust the trip according to the age, and they will always say to the children that lights can be turned back on at any time. Also, another limitation is that the sources of light available in the caves, they only give us hurricane lanterns, so we thought that we could bring in other sources as well to test which ones would produce the most light in the caves. But the limitations of the trip can be overcome with good organisation and tour guide reduction. And our risk assessment. The caves provide hurricane lanterns, but they should be given to adults amongst the groups. There's an even spread of light. And also to make sure the children don't fall over or burn themselves. There'll be a safety briefing before the tour to let the children know that the spaces will get smaller. Because when we went, because we're taller, the ceilings come quite low, which might be an issue for the children, but they need to know that the spaces will get bigger and smaller. Also, there needs to be 2 tour guides in case any child wants to leave at any point. Our risk assessment minimises the risk involved as the trip, because we make sure that the children will be safety briefed and there will always be an even spread of light in public mountains.
Okay, in terms of SEND and EAL, I forgot to type EAL up there, sorry. You should have on your desk some handouts, which is a social story. I'll just give you a few seconds just to look at that. So the aim of the social story, according to Gray, who devised it in 1994, was to prepare a child for an unfamiliar social situation. You can see on this, it does have a sort of timetable-esque feel to it. That is because we combined it with a visual timetable so it can be used on the day as well as in preparation. So the first part of the social story would be the countdown towards the trip. So from 10 days prior to the trip, we would go through the whole social story each day, which would prepare the child and help him realise what behaviours are expected there, what will happen, so how to behave in the cave, what time we're going, when we're leaving. That could be beneficial for EAL children as well because it's very visually stimulated and they wouldn't have to read too much English. Okay.
We also look to scientific inquiry skill that they'll be learning because, as Ryan and Sherrington say, the most important feature of Key Stage 1 is the science determinant target 1 because it's the foundation that we set for Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. In particular for this trip we thought about thinking about what might happen before deciding what to do, which is 2C, because the importance of practical activity is for children to think and learn at higher order levels, and furthermore it develops on their natural curiosity that they have in life from the early years, so it's building upon what they already know. Lesson 2 addresses light sources used in the context of how to light Little Bear's Cave, linking with Caver's idea of providing unique ways to find the right context. So storytelling adds as a meaningful context for them, for things they're going to. We would read up to this point, because this point in the book is a way of focusing them into an investigation. So we'd focus on how we're going to light Little Bear's Cave because he's scared. So it's in the context.
Okay, for the following lesson, the last lesson, we would address a misconception that comes up in the book. And basically in the book, Big Bear takes Little Bear outside and they're saying that the moon is a source of light, which it isn't. And this is how we'd address it. On your tables, you should have some torches. And then a piece of, if you get your hand out, have your hand out now.
Oh.
And if you hold that up, I will show you. Oh. And then if you shine the light onto the piece of paper, you'll see the piece of paper will represent the moon, and the torch will represent the sun. And you'll see that as an outline, which is similar to what the moon would do. If you take the torch away, where's it gone? It's gone. Yeah, so that would hopefully bring up the idea that the moon isn't a source of light, it's rather the sun reflecting on the moon.
According to the Redbridge Grid for Learning, they emphasise that post-curricular is important because it emphasises links between subjects and it helps children make sense of what they are learning. Post-curricular links are crucial to learning as learning depends on being able to make connections between prior knowledge and experiences. While on the trip to Chislehurst Cave, we realised that the post-curricular link that we found was with English, that's the speaking and listening, as the children were in groups so they can discuss what they noticed in the cave and they had to listen to the tour guide and respond to the questions. When we get back to the classroom during our lessons, we use ICT because the children will use iPads to record and evaluate the investigations.
We just thought at the end that we'd read the rest of the story because it finishes it off quite nicely and it sort of brings the topic to a close and it explains, it goes on to explain that darkness is the absence of light. So I'm just going to finish reading it for you. With one swift move, she crossed the room and grabbed him by the wrist. And pretty soon, around the room, they danced the funky twist. And after all that dancing round, they had a little break. They sipped a cup of lemonade and nibbled on some cake. Now darkness comes in every night to dance and laugh and play, and the two of them, best of friends, dance the night away. But when they're tired and sleepy, Daisy switches off the light, and Daisy knows that darkness knows it's time to say
Good
Good
night.
night.